Can we talk or not talk, family?
Shalom, shalom, family. It's your brother Chris. I pray all is well. I pray everybody having a beautiful and blessed day. But this is the day the Most High has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Hallelujah. Welcome back to another edition of Can We Talk or Not Talk? We're going to get right into this thing. It's going to be a serious topic right here. Keep your hands to yourself. We're going to be speaking on domestic violence and abuse. And domestic violence and abuse is definitely something that been going on in our community for a long time, standing back to even when, we was young. I have a series right now, me and uh, Brother Allen and even the sister from Narrows of the Way that we started. And it starts in your innocence. And a lot of these things, we seen even when we was growing up. And domestic violence, it's a topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it's so prevalent. Like even back in our mothers and our grandparents' time, these things was happening. And a lot of people didn't want to talk about it, but domestic violence, stems from, not only just abuse, but substance abuse from people, being alcoholics, people who can't control their anger. And then you had a generation of little boys who grew up thinking that, putting their hands on a woman was being a man. You had, pimps who was doing things to, the prostitutes. And then you have a generation of little girls growing up to being masculine and being in a generation when they seen their parents or seen their mothers with other men who wasn't their daddy fighting on them and beating on them. And that also created another mindset of women who wanted to be masculine, wanted to be ratchet, wanted to be physical. And if you wasn't a certain type of man, then they had some men who I consider effeminate men or the neutered man who grew up under majority a woman's roof. Either it was their mother, their auntie, or their grandma, and they picked up these women traits and never really knew how to deal with a woman, but to listen to them and put their head down. That's why you seen a lot of young boys when they was coming up. Every time that somebody used to speak to them, they always used to put their head down. And anytime that they was always timid. And anytime that a male figure, a real true male figure came around, they didn't know how to accept that because all they ever heard was women talking, was women being authority over them. And a lot of these men not making excuses for nobody, because I'm here to say domestic violence, it's not good on either end. But we have to address these issues and we have to hit these things on, because a lot of so-called men, they thinking that because that you have control over a woman by you be able to put your hands on her, that you thinking that that's a man, but that's a coward. Any man who have to put their hands on a woman is a coward. And a lot of times it's because that they seen their mothers with either their fathers or with other men that she was dealing with, all of these thugs and all of these in and out relationships that she had. And they always seen their mother dogging men, or they always seen these men beating on their mothers. So they take on these traits. Either they hate men. That's why a lot of times we kill one another, because we have a hatred of men, because we grew up under a lot of these roofs with these type of different women who she hated men, and then they grow up to hate men, and it's a vicious cycle that continues to go on. So a lot of times they seen it, or they seen these men creeping in and out of the houses, and the only time that they seen a man is when he was coming to do the do. And they seen these men dealing with their mama, and they seen all of this trauma, and they pick up these characteristics, and they go on to do the same thing, and thinking that, oh well, this is how I seen a man treat a woman, so this is the way that, in their minds, they thinking that this is. And it's sad, because a lot of men thinking that putting your foot in a woman's behind is the way that you show her love. And then you have some women who, because they've been abused and abandoned for so long, and they might not had a male figure in their life that showed them or guarded them and showed them how a man's supposed to be, and they seen majority of the time their mom went in and out relationships and seeing how she treated a man and how she talked to a man, and she takes on them same type of characteristics as well. So she goes to find these thuggish type of men, and nowadays these so-called thuggish men is effeminate homosexual thugs. Their hair looking more better than yours. They're treating themselves like a woman do. And they have these women characteristics. That's the reason why you have a lot of these men that they don't stand on business when it comes to a relationship with a woman, because they never had a male authority figure to show them you don't go back and forth with a woman. But because that we was raised in these female houses, and we take on these feminine traits, and we never seen how a true man, and especially a man of Yah, is supposed to be able to handle his woman and respect his woman in such of a way that you don't resort to violence. Because real men, we don't sit there and allow it to even get to that point. We say what we have to say, and we through, and we done. We walking away. But because they have these generations and this cycle that has been going on for so long, that this is what we seen, and especially when it comes to communities that is the hood, the ghetto, these are things that we seen. And a lot of times substance abuse is there, alcoholism is there, and in these generations that we follow after, generational curses. So you have even some women that they pick these type of men, knowing that this man is a violent man. This man is still a little boy inside. He still is a hurt little boy. He don't know how to treat women because he never seen nobody learn how to treat women. Do that give him excuse to do what he do? No, it surely don't. But majority of the time, this is the cycle, and these are the things that people follow because they've seen it from generation to generation. And along with also, things that we see even outside of our homes. So we pick up all of these different things, and we thinking that this is the way that we supposed to be able to have relationships, and all of this is done wrong. And it's sad because you have so many women who either get into abusive relationships with men, and it starts off where the man seems like that he's a good man, and they don't, because they so in love, or because he putting it down to them real good, and the sex is the thing that keeps them there, that they overlook the little breadcrumbs, the red flags that this man already started pushing, you doing these different things like that, and then they don't look at that. And a lot of times that a lot of these women has been abused early, and this is what they go for. And as soon as a man do that, a lot of times these women, they they get used to that. And then he'll come on back, put it back down to you again, and then you stay right there, and you stay in that same type of cycle, because it's not only manipulative or he's manipulating you, but also because this is the love that you have seen. Your mama was like that, your grandmama was like that. This is what you seen. And you thinking to yourself that this is love or this is the way that it's supposed to be. And I'm here to tell you that that's not. That's not no real love. Any man who have to do that to you, that's not real love. But you have to also want to get out of these relationships. Stop picking these type of men. Stop picking these type of men with these violent behaviors. You want the thugs and you want the gangsters. You want the drug dealers. You want, these type of men. And you get the same results. Generational curses. You continue to find that sense of love, but because you never have seen what a real man supposed to be like or treat a woman like, you go by what you seen in your childhood. And the same with a man. Daddy was abusive. Grandfather was abusive. Uncle was abusive. And they go on to do these type of things. And I'm here to tell you that these things or generational curses and these things is something that's been infecting our community for so long. And I know there's a lot of people don't want to talk about this because, it's a sensitive topic, but hey, this is Can We Talk or Not Talk? Somebody gonna have to do it. And I'm here to stand bold against that because we see these things even in our communities, even in so-called church organizations. We see these things in even some Hebrew Israelism. So many sisters, they thinking that, these men or, men of Yah, and come to find out that they are brutish men. Or you got some men who, they get with some type of women thinking that they are Proverbs 31, and this woman here putting their hands on them because it goes both ways. They got women who put their hands on men too, or they'll put themselves in a position like a man, egging the man on. Do that give the man the right to hit them? No, it don't. But you don't put yourself in those type of predicaments. Yeah, 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 yeah. The man trying to walk away and you following him, you pushing him, you doing all of this type of stuff like that. We didn't seen it. I didn't have plenty of relationships like that. You trying to walk away and the woman get right in front of you, still running her mouth. Yeah, 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 yeah. Putting themselves in it because this is what they seen. To win the argument, you continue to talk. Whoever gets the last word wins. This type of childish and ghetto black behavior that we have seen and majority of us have grown up in and have seen this. And this is why that we have to be mature and come out of this vicious violent cycle, learning to keep our hands to ourselves. You have some women who go off the wall, throw things. I knew some women back in my day who will stab you quick if you just raise your voice to them because this is what they mama did, this is what they sister did, this is what their auntie did. And you got some men, a woman say anything, he ready to go Ike Turner on her. This is the cycle. These are the things that we have grew up in, majority of us, not all, but some. And even in some quiet communities, people who was church people and stuff like that. The bishop, the reverend, the pastor, he used to be Pimp James before he became Pastor James. And he go quick upside his woman head so quick, beating his kids to a pulp. These are the things that we have seen, and we have to break this cycle because this is something that's been going on for a long time. And us as a people have to stand up against this. And if it's a man or if it's a woman and you seeing this, you have to be able to come against this. Not just sitting there just allowing this type of behavior to go on. I know it's a lot of sisters out there who have been victimized by this. And then I know it's some men who got locked up for things that they might not even did. It's because they raised their voice because they supposed to be the man in the house, and this woman went black on him, and he didn't even put his hands on him, but they put their hands on the woman, put their hands on him, and then he still went to jail. So it go both ways. I'm trying to keep this thing balanced because these things happen, and this is the reason why I have had a testimony. This happened to me before when I was in Arizona, and I was trying to defend the woman. And it was my fault because I was drinking, but I was trying to defend the woman who I was with. Got in a fight for the dude who was trying to push up at the time on the woman that I was with. I fought the dude, and then the cops get called on me, and I went to jail because of the woman that I was with saying that I scared her, and I was only defending her. They ain't never even put my hands on her at all. But because of she never seen me get to a point where I was violent, not towards her, but I'm defending her. And I still went to jail. Because they said, well, you scared her, even though you didn't touch her, but we still gonna send you to jail. And I went to jail for like 2 days behind that. So it go both ways. So we have to be able to be real with this situation, be real with ourselves and things that happens and goes on even in our relationships. And we have to understand that, it's never okay for a woman to be in that predicament. And it's never okay for brothers who trying to walk away and don't even put their hands on a woman, but because they raise their voice, they still get called and go to jail, or a woman can threaten him with going to jail because of, oh, he's not listening to what I want him to do. Because see, this is all part of the role reversal because you have so many women nowadays who is more masculine, and you have so many men who are so effeminate, or who is a neutered man, which means that they take your manhood where you don't, you're not the head of your household, she's the head of your household. So what she says goes. And you have so many men who keep their little head down or tuck their head between their tail and allow the woman to tell them what to do. I know a lot of people that I used to be friends with when I was in the world. Women would slap them. They better not look at another woman in any type of way at all. I'm talking about, man, I'm talking about would put them hands on them, straight hood chicks. So this thing it go both ways. So it's not good for neither one, but especially men who just outright just abuse men and putting their hands on women and just beating women and doing these type of things, it's never okay for them. And if it's any man, if that's supposed to be supposedly your brother, and you know these things are happening, and you don't step in and you don't check him, because a lot of these men, they won't fight no man, but they be quick to fight a woman because they've been fighting women all their life, fighting with their mama. Their mama was dominant over them. Their auntie was dominant over them. Their sister was dominant over them. All the time when they seen their mama, it was with a man. Most likely, she was dominant over him. Only time he came around is to have a headboard knot, or he seen his mama hurt so much by men that he started beginning to hate men as well, but still find himself to act like what he was seeing. So this thing goes deep, and we have to be able to get free from this because domestic violence It's real big in our community, and it's been tearing our people down for generations and generations. And so many people, they think that that's a way of showing that you love somebody. You got to put your hands and feet on people, or even verbal abuse, because that is big too. Verbal abuse. If you have to raise your voice and try to put somebody in check with your voice, with your hands, then you don't even deserve to be with that person. Anybody who has to go through that or think that that's the reason why they're in love. Oh, he don't love me unless he knock me upside my head, because you so used to that, and this is something that you have seen all your life, and you thinking that that's the way that man love you. You need to get delivered. You need to get both y'all need to get delivered, but you need to get away from that person, and you need to get delivered and stop living captive to these abusers and these beautish men or these hood chicks with this ratchet mindset. If you have to raise your voice over that man to put him in check because you run the household, man, you need to get away from them, or you need to get you a backbone. Get you a backbone, or get away. That's in my opinion. Because if any way that you go that your word is not valid, and you supposed to be the man of the house, and your word is not valid in that house, you a neutered man. She done took your cojones from you. And if you're a woman and that man has to put his hands on you, not no real man. You need to get away from him and stop falling for these men and women that you have seen all of your life, or that pattern after your mama, or pattern after your daddy, or pattern after the people that you've seen in your life, thinking that that's real love. Learn how to keep your hands to yourself. No more domestic violence. Hallelujah. Keep your head up, family. Keep your faith in the Most High. If you in a violent or abusive relationship, no matter if it's verbal or physical, pray that the Most High will deliver you from that, or that person will get help and get delivered. But don't stand nowhere where you have to get beat on, or you have to get treated like you nothing, and thinking that that's love. Stop letting sex, or you staying there because the man is financially able, or even if you're a man and the woman's financially able. Stop just laying up with these hood chicks. They some dangerous, man. Some of them women is dangerous. Stand up on your own, especially a man. Go to work. Do what you need to do. Stop trying to just lay up on these fast women like that because you got an appetite for that, and just because of their body. And if you're a woman, stop just laying up with these men just because that, you know, they working with something and they can put it down. They touching all of your little freaky spots that you like. Sex is not everything. because he could be having sex with you but still beat on you. Might have catch that. Get free and get delivered. Keep your hands to yourself. No more domestic violence. This is another edition of Can We Talk or Not Talk? Peace and blessings, family. Shalom, shalom.
Thanks for watching Can We Talk or Not Talk podcast. Hallelujah. Shalom, shalom, family.